Hey y'all, Happy New Year. So I should have done this yesterday. I guess it's okay to be a day late, but I wanted to keep with what I've been doing lately and look at some of the arrests over big weekends. Um, I kind of suspected that we would see a lot of DWI arrests over the New Year's Eve weekend, and in my opinion, we did. So what I did was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Uh, Friday was actually the lightest of days with a total of 35 arrests. Uh, but then, mainly more than anything else, I was interested in DWI arrests because I figured there would be a lot of people drinking and driving over that holiday weekend. And so out of those 35 arrests on Friday, only 4 were actually DWI arrests. So Friday was not that bad. 35 total arrests with 4 DWI cases. That probably a normal weekend yields those same results. So then Saturday stepped it up a little bit. So Saturday we had a total of 57 arrests. Out of those 57, 9 were for driving while intoxicated. Uh, that seems to me to be a bigger number. Now you got to keep in mind that when I say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so it stops at midnight, and so a lot of these on Saturday look like they were more during the day. I think midnight, 10 minutes after midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:18, 2:30, 2:40, 3 o'clock in the morning. So out of 9 total, about half of them were overnight, in the middle of the night. The rest were during the day. The biggest number comes from Sunday, technically, but remember, the first started at midnight. And we had a total of 12 DWI arrests on the first. And it looks like the first one was around 1:30 in the morning. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 out of those 12 were all from midnight till 4:30 a.m. There was 1 daytime arrest for DWI out of those 12. So that is a huge number to me. I mean, to get 12 DWIs in one night, it's a big number to me. So y'all can go back and look at other holiday weekends I've done and see what the numbers were. But like I said, the 12 on the first seems like a high number to me. But we'll see. Now, when I do these, little videos looking at the arrests, I do want to, it reminds me of something that I've had to talk to some clients about recently, and that is, when someone's charged with a crime in our system of justice, you are innocent until proven guilty. And for some reason, it seems like social media is helping erode that. And what I mean is, when you see in various Facebook groups or just people's postings, and you see someone post about an arrest of a suspect for a crime, if you start looking at the comments, and this happens in the daily news as well, and on the newspaper on their online version, you see people commenting like, calling the suspect a POS, or saying various negative things about people. What comes to mind is recently one that happened was a prostitution sting, and people had lots to say about the men that were arrested. Again, because someone's charged with a crime doesn't mean they're guilty of that crime. And I've had instances over the years where I've had to write letters on people's clients' behalf to their employers, reminding them that a charge is merely a charge. It's an accusation. It is not a conviction, and cannot be held against someone. Under our system of justice, you are innocent until proven guilty. And so I get frustrated sometimes when I see all these posts on social media talking about labeling someone one way or another because of a charge. And so when I look at all these and I see the DWIs, and like I said, 12 seems like a high number for me on January the 1st. I didn't say any of the 12 people that were arrested were guilty, because we don't know. I don't know anything about their cases. I know the person's name, what time they were arrested, and a basic location of where they were arrested. I don't know anything else about their case, and I certainly wouldn't say any of these people are guilty of driving while intoxicated. They did get arrested for driving while intoxicated. That does not mean they committed the offense. And this is something, that's hard for us as defense attorneys to go over when we're picking juries, because it's important that as a prospective juror, the people realize that a charge is merely a charge. It is not evidence of guilt. And so I think about that from time to time. And like I said, I always look at, as y'all know, these arrests, and I see all the arrests in the newspaper, all the crime stories. I look at everything just like everyone else does. I probably pay a little more attention because it's what I do for a living. But the other thing I like to do is always on the online version of the paper, and again, like on Facebook, is look at the comments that people make to try and get an idea of what people's mindsets are. And, again, I wish everyone would always remember that any accused citizen is innocent until their guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt in front of the jury. If you look at public records, you see all the time cases get dismissed. If you look at the reason for the dismissal, sometimes the reason is insufficient evidence. If you look and you follow us, you see that we've gotten a couple of not guilty verdicts recently, which means that the person was accused of a crime and later found not guilty. One of those was one of my clients charged with murder. The jury acquitted him of that murder, so he was not guilty of murder. Another one was a young man accused of sexual assault of a child, and he was acquitted of that. But I imagine that, especially the kid charged with the sexual assault, I'm sure that, there were people in his life and his family's life that, had labeled him a monster, and then, of course, to be found not guilty. So it's just an important concept that runs throughout our judicial system, and I wish you would all keep that in mind before you comment on people's arrests or people's situation once they find themselves charged with a crime. It's sometimes a long process and a serious process, and a lot of times people are vindicated and not indeed found guilty of what they were charged with. So just keep that in mind. So again, Happy New Year. I hope y'all all have a great year. I'll be back as soon as I have a new topic.